Alright, hey, it is Wisconsin's Classiest Commish, and there is nothing classier in the universe than a Bobby Boucher Mud Dogs jersey. Is what we're wearing. I want to welcome everybody down here to the Brewer Basement Studios. It's the 7th episode, Season 4. The birds are singing, the sun was shining, love was in the air, there was magic. Something must have happened this weekend. Oh, it did. The Cuba City Cobra Kai got off the schneid. They have one win. They will not go down as the worst team in the history of the league. The big ol' Ofer, that's a little bit of weight off of the Commish's shoulders. And I would like to pivot and speak a little bit about the weight that is on the Commissioner's shoulders. I want to take us on a little jog down memory lane, and we've all played in or know of fantasy leagues where they were run by a shady commish. One who tried to kind of hide or hijack the waiver wire. Kind of, maybe he knew they worked third shift, makes it like 2 a.m. I played in a league like that once. We've played with commissioners who refused to pay out what they were supposed to pay out, not because they didn't have the money, because the owner stiffed them, but because they were mad they lost and they just didn't pay out. Or they had already spent it on themselves. We've all been in a league where roster moves were made by a shady commish for themselves. We've also been in that league where there was rules constantly changing, and they always seem to favor the commissioners. Those leagues suck, and they certainly don't last over a decade like ours has. Ours is a keeper league, and from time to time, a team may look towards the future while others are still playing in the present. This can be frustrating. I understand this. I have been on both sides. And it can be hard as the commish to fully participate in trades because of this fact. I've probably lost out on enough trades because I just didn't want to seem sketchy. I could have taken advantage of other players, or I could have really fleeced people because I knew who they liked and what they liked. But I chose not to. I need you all to trust in me and trust that I use a program that is set up to be impartial. Even though it says the commish approves the trades, really this program approves them. It gives me a trade score, and it gives me a percent change to each team on a dynasty time scale. It factors in each team's fantasy roster, projected points, future trajectory, likelihood of players to start, likelihood of players to actually score points for the other owners, for each owner. I do not share this program, where to obtain it, what program it is, for a very simple reason. Early on in this league, I was burned by two owners who would sit up and they would work and work and work and see just how many token players that they could throw in just to get the trade value to just enough so that the commish would accept it, even though it didn't make the trade actually any better. And the other owner knew that the other owners knew that the players they were throwing in were probably going to get cut, or they would have cut them themselves. This wasn't in the spirit of what I wanted as far as participation for trading, and so I will not share the program that I use. I think as your guys' commissioner over the last 11 years, I've earned this trust. I operate the same way on my trades as I do everyone else. I don't look ahead of time. Most of us can tell what's going to be pretty decent. Most of us can tell if it's not. But until a trade is accepted, I do not put it in to the site. This league is very, very competitive. It has really great ownership that actually cares and actually participates. And that's what makes this one not only a really great league, but the classiest fantasy football league in all of Wisconsin, and I want it to stay that way. I know things can be frustrating, and from an ownership point, my season's been frustrating from an ownership point. I know that there's more than one owner whose season has been frustrating, and that's because you care, and that's what makes this league great. All right, so now after that's all done, took care of that business, I want to move on to a segment I like to call the Commish's Friends Doing Great Things Outside of Fantasy Football. Shout out. Sometimes I forget about these and I don't really get them out there in time. So today we got two of them. Lance Conroy and his teammates on Lonnie's Minions are at Fort Pierce, Florida, competing in the Firefighter Combat Challenge World Championships in solos, duels, and team events. There is a link for the website to find out more about Firefighter Combat Challenge. In the description for this show, there's a link there, and there's also a link for the live stream. They start competing tomorrow, early in the morning. It's kind of like a track meet, so if you want to look ahead of time, kind of see, you a lot of times you end up waiting around watching for like the one person you want to see go. But yeah, if you want to see something interesting, fun, this thing used to be on ESPN back when ESPN had more than just talk shows and football and college basketball. So I really like this. Go ahead, give it check it out. You can check out their website to see what it's all about. I think it's the toughest 2 minutes in sport. Another shout out to Patrick Anderson of Glenwood. He is in the playoffs of iRacing Triple Threat Series. He has a large lead in the Xfinity division. Playoffs start tomorrow at 7:25. There is a link to that live stream. They race for 90 minutes. It's a timed race, so you know when you can catch it. And there is a link to that live stream and Triple Threat Racing in the description for the show. Okay, now back on to Fantasy League news. We have Power Rankings. We-Energy Power Rankings. All right. Number 6, we got someone moving in for the first time in a while. It is Only B. The Only B in here is number 6. Again, there's fluidity at the bottom of the power rankings. There are 6 teams vying for the last 2 spaces in the playoffs by my estimation. And right now, Only B is number 6 after coming off a win last week. Number 5, Phil Lip Service. He stays there even though he lost. He lost to one of our top teams, and he put up a good point even though Dak was not playing. Phil Lip Service, number 5. Number 4, the Flying Fallopians. They dropped from 1. They got their first loss of the season. They are still 7-1, but that team has more cracks than the San Andreas Fault. I see a lot of good moves out of him this week, but he's flying at 4. Remember, there is a group of 4 at the top of this thing that are all moving around, and then there's another group of 4 that's all moving around, 4 or 5, and I think there's 3 that are in trouble. Number 3, I have No Harm, No Foul. They got the win. They beat the Fallopians. It was kind of a weak win. Derrick Henry went down. I'm going to keep them at number 3, no harm, no foul. Number 2, the Slaughterhouse Hams, putting up the most points last week, even though Dallas was supposed to not do anything. I have the Hams at number 2. They are one of my favorites for the championship at this moment, along with our number 1 team in the power rankings, Tom Bucking Brady. This team is a buzzsaw. They're very complete. They put up, if they didn't put up the high score last week, they put up a very close one. We Energy Power Rankings. Tom Bucking Brady, number 1. Number 2, the Slaughterhouse Hams. Number 3, No Harm, No Foul. Number 4, the Flying Fallopians. Number 5, Phil Lip Service. And number 6, the only bee in here. Alright, now we're going to move on to this week's rivalry game of the week, and it is a biggie. Remember those power rankings we just did? Well, number 1 versus number 2 are facing each other. Not only are they 1 and 2, but they are number 8 on our rivalry rating index. This week I am going to go ahead and give the edge to the Slaughterhouse Hams. But I do not believe Zeke is going to have a great day on Sunday. And if he is held in check, the door might be open for Tom Bucking Brady's to go right through. This is a great rivalry. It's a close one over the years. It's usually high scoring. It should be high scoring this week. That is fantastic. Alright, we're going to move on to Survivor Island. Before we start the video, a little aside. My audio and video were corrupted today, so when I sat down to do it, I got nothing. So, I put something together, because I've been teasing having something forever, and, well, this is what I came up with. All the humanity, the last dance, Dougie Style, Polly here to be Colby, Cuba City, Cobra Kai, gone! Where are they? Oh no, Flying Fallopians are flying away! The Game Breaker's gone! Philip Lip Service, where did he go? We are down to our final 5, and next week is a double elimination. Who will survive? Okay, so this week, who was eliminated from Survivor Island? Dun dun dun, nobody. One tie, all tie. No harm, no foul. Fly, Eagles fly. Both finished with 84 points. So next week will be a double elimination. So the same 5 are still in their little powwow on the island, their little circle of trust or whatever they're contemplating there on Survivor Island. So this week, big week, it's a double elimination coming up in week 9. Okay, what y'all been waiting for? Banana Head is back. Here's your Mr. Banana Head Man. Alright, here's Mr. Banana Head Man. Last week's picks went 4 and 1. And that means we are 20 and 10. We are 2 to 1 on winning picks. If you are betting with me, you are up 9 units, and you are loving every minute of it. Alright? Hopefully your units are quite large. But you're up 9 units, you're doing a great job, you're loving life, so is Mr. Banana Head Man. Okay, so this week, what we have for you is Bengals minus 2.5 versus the Browns. Usually, they're at home. You'd say the Bengals, they don't stand a chance. The Bengals, they just lost to the Jets. Well, here's a little secret. If you noticed, Mr. Banana Head Man, I don't know if he picked him here, but I know that he picked him on his own personal pick. He picked the Jets to cover, and that is because the Bengals were getting ready for this game, not the Jets. And when they hopped up in the lead against the Jets, they kind of figured, well, let's on to Cleveland. And they forgot to finish the game against the Jets. And if it wasn't for like a really, really crappy helmet-to-helmet call, the Bengals would have walked out of there with a win, and we would have just said, oh, they played kind of poor. I'm telling you right now, they might win by 20 tomorrow, or on Sunday. I have the Patriots minus 3.5 at Carolina. Yes, I am buying in on the Patriots against bad teams. Carolina is a bad team, and it has a fatal flaw, and Bill Belichick knows Sam Darnold and how to irritate him. And if he can get Sam Darnold to throw interceptions, which I believe he can, you're looking at a game that ends up a lot like the Charger game where the Patriots win by 10. I have the Patriots by a touchdown. Patriots minus 3.5 at Carolina. The Chargers minus 1.5 at Philadelphia. Philadelphia, guess what, is not built to beat the Chargers like the Patriots were absolutely built to beat the Chargers. I underestimated just how bad the Chargers' run defense was. And the Patriots really controlled the time of possession. Herbert didn't get a lot of time out there. The Philadelphia Eagles will not be able to do that against the San Diego Chargers, or the Los Angeles Chargers. So I got Chargers minus 1.5 at Philly. I think I have to put a quarter in that San Diego jar for that. I have the Cardinals plus 1.5 at the 49ers. I'm going to tell you a dirty little secret that nobody on any of these talk shows seems to want to say. The 49ers are not any good. They're like, oh, Jimmy G, Trey Lance, some of this, some of that. No, they're just not good. They were physical. You could tell that without Robert Saleh calling the defense, they are lost. And they've lost some of their physicality on both offense and defense. And right now, the 49ers are not a good team. Just think, their defense gave up 22 points to the Bears and Justin Fields when nobody else has given up like 10. They're not a good team. The Cardinals are a good team. And if they are game planning to not have Denard Hopkins, if they're game planning to not have Kyler Murray, they're still more physical. And they have more physical options than the San Francisco 49ers. And finally, we have the LA Rams minus 7.5 versus the Titans. I do not feel sad if you were one of the people who got the Rams at minus 16.5. You must have forgot that this is not college. Minus 16.5 is a lot. If you had it at minus 16, that's so much better. But 16.5, that's a big boy. That's a big boy line. If you had that and you got smoked out, that's your problem. This week, the Titans, they're not going to be able to control the clock. The end. And without being able to control the clock, the Rams are going to be able to have plenty of possessions. They're going to win by 14 plus. LA Rams minus 7.5 versus the Titans. If anybody's seen the Florida State Clemson game, yep, I got the bad end of that. All-timer bad beat last week. Woo! That one was depressing. And it touched off a run that did not go well for me until Sunday. I want to thank everybody for watching. Don't forget to check out those links in my description. Cheer on Pat and Lance and all those involved with those organizations. Also, go ahead and check out Wisconsin's Classiest Commish YouTube page. If you haven't already, we update it with recent episodes of Wisconsin's Classiest Commish right now. Hey, I wouldn't be doing any of this. I wouldn't be commissioning. I wouldn't be doing this show if it wasn't for all of you that make it worthwhile. And I love it. I love you guys. Thanks for letting me do this. Good luck this weekend. And stay classy.